the most important part of tonight. The two ladies, Mbulelo, as well as Noluvuyo, are outside there. Can you please stand and give them a great welcome as they come on stage and tell us and share their experience with ICT On Heels? Can we stand and give them a round of applause, please? Good evening, ladies. How are you?
We're all right, Monde. And you?
I'm well. So now, Mbulelo, can you just tell us a bit about who you are and then just a minute or so?
All right. So maybe even before I tell you about myself, thank you for this opportunity to sit here in front of you. And thank you for coming out to hear what we have to say. Just a quick summary of who I am. My name is Mbulelo. I'm a single mother of 3 children. I am passionate about empowering women, but not just women in particular, or not only women, but also young people, because I also have a boy, so I need to balance the scale. So yeah, so that will be my summary.
Noluvuyo.
Thank you, Mbulelo. Good evening, everyone, and thank you once again for affording us this opportunity. My name is Noluvuyo. I'm a mother of 2, a working mom, and also running ICT On Heels. I think what brings me and Mbulelo close together is our passion for empowering women, particularly around the space of mentorship and lifting each other up. Thank you.
The name ICT On Heels. What inspired that name?
All right. So I think the ICT space has been predominantly male dominated. To an extent that I'll talk from my perspective and how I've viewed it. When you get into the industry, we tend to want to be like the men. So we'll wear the jeans and we'll be casual, and so that we can maybe be taken seriously. So we're like, no, let's be taken seriously in our heels, being the women that we are in the same space.
I think my interpretation is being comfortable as a woman in your own space, because we tend to work in these environments that are dominated by men, and we tend to conform, and people will tell you stop being a sissy, and people always want you to act more like a man. And the reason why we decided to call it ICT On Heels and to start this own thing was for us to embrace the women who are coming before us and say it's okay to be a woman, and you can achieve as much as the next man can. So yeah.
And what is ICT On Heels?
So ICT On Heels is a network empowerment platform for women within the ICT space. The reason why we decided to start up this platform in ICT, both myself and Mbulelo come from the ICT space, and when we looked at our journeys, and when we even today, we still, for example, find ourselves being the only females in the room, especially in senior management in IT. And what we wanted to do through this initiative is support women who are coming into the field so that they can either specialize or move into senior roles.
And what drove you to start ICT On Heels?
So I think the main thing that drove us to want to make a difference in the ICT space is if you look at the stats and you look at the workforce, women make about 20% of the workforce in the ICT space. And if you look at where we are within ICT, we are mainly either at the bottom of the food chain or we're struggling somewhere. So there's a few women at the top. So we want to influence that and change the face of that. I think women are very capable, and that being said, it doesn't make men any less capable, but I think we just need to be given a platform to showcase what we have as well.
Do you have any questions? No questions yet. Can we just also just use our social media? So our handle is @StartupGrind Pretoria. The hashtag is StartPTA. The ICT On Heels Twitter account is @ICT On Heels. Mine is @hot, HOTT, the number 2. Don't ask me why hot. So it's HOTT, the number 2 sauce. So please, let's also engage on social media.
Hot sauce.
Yes, hot to sauce.
Hot to sauce.
You have a hand, lady?
So maybe I should give you like a history of where we started and where we met and how we connected. So we attended the Women in ICT conference, I think last year, beginning of the year. Attended the first one, then attended the second one, and I think we met at the second one, right? So when we met, and we met these great women that are doing great things in their spaces with different corporates, women that are doing amazing things in the ICT space. And we like, and the conference is not even, doesn't come cheap. So it has to be either financed by a corporate or something. So the people that really needed to be at the conference couldn't afford it. So if you were at entry level, like at service desk, and you needed that motivation, or you were stuck in an unfulfilling role, and you wanted to be motivated and to find out what's out there, you can't afford to go there. I mean, your line manager will tell you, we can't afford it, it's part of your training or whatever. But then we met up and we said, there's great things happening within ICT that are driven by women, but are they including all the women? They're not. So they're excluding the women that need it the most. So are we doing it for the world? I think the aim is that we want to influence the industry. So, and we don't want to leave anyone behind. So I always, I like the whole lift idea. It's flawed a bit, but I like it. that as you go up, send the lift down to bring other people up. So as you go up, take other people up with you. So you don't want to find people that are at the bottom that don't have access to people that are at the top and are influential in the industry. So we want to create that network so that people are accessible and you learn from the mistakes of the people that are already on top. So I hope that answers your question.
Any other question? Nothing yet. So now, a person could be sitting and saying, why are the two of you on ICT On Heels? What is it that you're bringing that is making ICT On Heels to be sitting here in front of us today? Your skills, expertise?
I think I talk too much. We bring passion, for starters. We've gone through the hoops that other women are also going through, the struggles. I mean, Nolu can tell you her journey, but I also started from service desk to really make my way up. So what am I bringing to the table? I know the challenges that women face, and I know at my level that because I'm a woman, I'm a woman. By default, I'm seen as though I need to. By default, I can't make it happen until I prove myself. So it's part of having to change that mindset. That's what I would say.
I think what is important, what we bring as well into the journey is our personal experience. For example, I recently just moved up in Joburg about a year ago, and when I was down in Cape Town, I had started a mentorship program, but the mentorship program I was running was for young disadvantaged girls, and it was focusing on specific key areas that will help young disadvantaged girls. So it's being able to apply that same learning that you've applied somewhere else into the ICT space, because in as much as ICT on Heels is mainly about mentoring women, the principle is still the same. And as well, what is important when I reflect back and look into my career, for example, I started working at a call center for Vodacom when they started out with 3G and when they were rolling out phone as a modem, all those things. So I used to do support. And when I look into my journey in this day and age, you still have women whom I started with on the same role, still fulfilling the same role. And you ask yourself, why haven't they navigated the space? Why are they still stuck in the same role? So it's tapping on prior experience and also bringing knowledge and what we've acquired into the platform.
So Monde is a female who wants. Oh, sorry. Yes, Michelle.
What does the ideal ICT on Heels training day or workshop or mentoring session look like? So I'm saying, what does the ideal ICT women training, ICT on Heels training or workshop look like? Who comes through it? I know you're saying women, but is it women? All types? All right. I'm saying, what's the ideal ICT on Heels women training or workshop, and who actually comes? I know you're saying women, but is there like an age group, age restriction, or is it open to high school, primary, well, not primary, but is it open to everybody? And what does a day look like?
So what we have at this point in time, or what we're doing, we have a 10-month structured mentorship program. And in that program, we focus on specific themes. We have various mentors that touch on specific key areas in the program. Some of the areas we touch on in the program is personal branding. And in any field, what we've realized, in order to excel in any field, yes, you need to have the technical skills and the technical know-how. But what we bring into the table for the girls is not only the technical skills. We bring in the softer side of things, get them out of their comfort zone, things such as personal branding, how to thrive in a constantly changing IT environment. We also run workshops in between the program, and some of those workshops are what we've seen, the trend that we've seen in the industry happening is there's a lot of trend around teach the girl child to code, for example. What we're saying, you have a lot of women in roles that they perceive as unfulfilling. So what we do, we're trying to say it's not too late. If you think you've missed the boat, it's not too late. So by doing these workshops, for example, we have workshops that talk to the dev space. We have DevOps workshops and workshops that try to get women who have interest into development, but who now find themselves in other roles. We try to teach them the skills and coding and to go into those roles. And also we have a program that is structured for high school learners. What we find happening, particularly in South Africa, we find that we talk a lot about scarce skills that it's difficult to, especially in the ICT. I know, for example, when I'm recruiting for specific roles, it will take a long time because there's scarce skills in those specific roles. And yet, on the contrary, we complain about unemployment in the country. So what we're trying to do in high schools, we're trying to host, we host actually ICT career-based days, whereby we would have a career day that is just focused on the various career options that are available in ICT. So we expose the kids to what they're not necessarily exposed in, especially in disadvantaged schools. Because when I reflect even into my experience, I remember even at university, I know this is what I was studying for, but you do this thing and you have no idea, okay, where am I gonna work? What do I want to do with this degree after this? Even Mbulelo, for example, can tap into her own personal experience, whereby she did programming with no computer and managed to pass. So those are the dynamics that if you are in a position of a little bit of privilege, you don't understand. There's a lot that needs to be unpacked when it comes to ICT skills. I'm not sure if I answer you.
Any other question? But now, who are the mentors that you have? I know just one, Ellen, but who are the mentors that you have that are contributing to your vision?
Okay, so like she said, we've got a 10-month program that's running, so we've got a mentor a month. Some of the mentors include Monde. The names are slipping, but they include Monde White. She's the head of technology. I think her role is recently changed in ABSA, previously known as Barclays. You can't keep up in that space. So we've got Monde, we've got Kate Moodley from Discovery. We've got Yolisa. I'm trying to think of them. You must help me out. Yolisa, and then
We've got Alan O'Craig, we've got Yolisa, who's also coming from ABSA. Basically, the type of women that we have is women in senior leadership within the ICT space. We've got women also in the public sector that are contributing to our content, such as the likes of Vuyokazi, she's CIO at PIC. Who else do we have?
we've got Kile Mazwai from West Bank. She's the HR executive for West Bank. And I think we included an HR person. If you look at the mentors, I think they cover different aspects within ICT. Part of it is HR. We needed an HR person there because there's a lot of challenges that we experience as women, especially when you're starting out. You don't even have that courage to, either go to HR when you've got drama in the office and stuff like that. So we try to cover all areas.
And we're not only focusing on corporates. We understand that not everyone aspires to sit in an office and work in 8-5. So we also encourage girls and women who want to be in the entrepreneurial space, whereby in the program we've got the likes of Abodudu Mkhwanazi, who's the CEO of Project Sizwe, and her role specifically in the program is to touch on social entrepreneurship and the role of ICT in the social entrepreneurship space. We've got other entrepreneurs such as Debbie Jackson, whereby they come into the program and teach the girls key skills such as the art of negotiating, because everything you do, it's all about negotiating. And what we don't want to happen is for the girls to downplay certain skills, because for us, we've only realized later in our career that actually this skill is important. Even things such as talking about money in the workplace, how do you negotiate your value and all those things. So we instill we instill a holistic approach to developing in the space and to allowing them to thrive within the space.
So now, how do you differentiate and give the various aspects? If a person is an entrepreneur versus a person who's an employee who, in ICT, so how do you deal with the two different people?
At this point in time, because we're starting, the program it's one program for both women in corporate that are in the ICT space and women who are in the entrepreneurial space. At this, we don't have separate programs at this point in time. What we're trying to achieve is to just give them a high-level overview of what you can achieve within the space, whether be it corporate. The skills can be applied in a corporate setting or in a business setting or entrepreneurial setting.
How many people are currently on your platform?
We've got about 40 people that are signed up on our platform, and we started with the platform beginning of Feb, as in to launch it and go live into the public. And it's only running in Joburg for now. There has been interest in various provinces as well, but for this point in time, it's still only running in Joburg.
So far, what has been the biggest challenge with you running ICT On Heels?
So I think from the time, even before we launched, so I think our challenges come from our victories or our highlights. so before we launched, we had an article on IT Web. It created a lot of hype for us. And we had a lot of people wanting to sign up, and by then we had not had proper systems in place, and then we have this influx of people that are wanting to sign up. So we really had to hit the ground running, really had to put systems in place, make sure that we can manage the influx of people. And as we go through the different platforms, like we've just been on the conference hub, from every platform that we get, the feedback from it is that we've got a lot of people wanting to be on the program, people saying, how can we help, how can we collaborate, and how can we partner with you guys. So initially it was handling the load. I don't think we anticipated the feedback that we got in the beginning, but now I think we're good now.
And the 40 people, can you just give us a breakdown? Is it people that are... Sorry about that. So is it people that are only in corporate, and what is their level in terms of, are they senior or juniors?
So it's a complete mix, right? We've got people that are not even in ICT that want to be on the program. It's women that feel that they need mentoring. You've got people that some are unemployed, some are in the HR space. We've got someone from electrical engineering or something like that. Then you've got your service desk ladies. We've got a lot of them. We had a lot of them from the Bytes team, the Bytes contract. And then you've got people that are doing their PhDs, people that are at higher levels. We've got entrepreneurs. We've got a lady that's got her own startup. So it's a mixed bag of ladies. So maybe just to give you also a rundown of what we've got monthly sessions. We call them tech talk sessions as well. When we in that session and we've got the mentor that's delivering either their talk or whatever, we've got a room full of women that are asking questions from wherever it is that they are and however they need help. And the network the networking that happens in those sessions makes a big difference. I mean, we even have to say, we cut our sessions and say, you know, guys, we're not going to be here the whole night. We need to cut it and then continue it either online or somewhere like that. So it's very interactive sessions. You've got ladies from different backgrounds, different levels interacting. Your
ordinary session, because you have every fortnightly sessions. So in a session, how long is it, and what would a person get out of that session? Is it just content where they're reading something, or they have someone in front who's just talking through them various aspects of business?
So we also include people that are part of the mentorship program and people that are not part of it. So we've got guests to our sessions. So for people that are on the mentorship program, there's homework or there's some work that they needed to have gone through that we follow up on. For instance, just to make an example, it would be maybe to try and identify a mentor within the space that you're in, because the mentors that we have on the program are mentors for people that are on the program. So maybe get a one-on-one mentor and skills on how to approach a person and all of that. So it would be like a homework for the people that are on the mentorship program. Then we have people, we give the platform to people to tell us or showcase what it is that they're doing in their space. For example, we had a lady that talked about design thinking in our last session. Then we have a proper talk from our mentor, and then we have a Q&A session, and then networking and drinking wine and tea and the things that ladies do best.
think as well, at the heart of what we're trying to do, we're trying to get women to be deliberate around what they do. So after each session, we require them to journal and reflect on their careers and what's going on and what has been touched on. And so far, and the feedback and the engagements that we've had with the ladies is that they've moved from point A to point B, and we're getting traction. We're going into a certain direction.
We've also, maybe just to add, we've also picked up though that, or maybe just to highlight that you can offer a service to people, but it's a thing that taking the horse to the water, but not forcing it to drink. So some people you make the opportunity available for them, but they want it on a silver platter. So let me explain. So we have sessions, and we say the session on such and such a date, and these are the times when the session starts, and certain people can't make it. So that the next session we're like, okay, we'll tweak it around you guys so that you are able to attend. And there's either no response or no feedback. So just to highlight as well that as much as opportunities are out there, right, as much as we make opportunities available, as much as we make the platform open to everyone, it has to be the person really need it for themselves. So you need to sign up and be ready to go through the program.
Do you have any questions?
Yes.
Hello, ladies. I love ICT On Heels. I love it. It's about time. So my question comes in. Sorry, guys, I've got a stutter. Please bear with me. My question comes in more. How do you handle the issue of or your thoughts more on the issue of management? I'll tell you why. So we used to hire young grads coming out of school. They've got the skill, but the young ladies were always too shy to take those leaps of faith on our time spent there with us. And we had a few who were always stronger girls, and they pushed and they asked the questions and they took on more work. And it's always those girls who were actually quite strong that you would hear someone that's quite high up saying, oh, she's too strong, or she's loud, or she's what. But then you do also think if it was a man, I wasn't going to say that. How do we start to shift the viewpoints that a girl who is strong, who is wearing her heels, who can code fast, who can do all these things, is not just being brash or strong or like a boy. That's just how she is. I struggled with trying to help them say, no, don't actually say that. No, she's strong. She's just being herself. And no, she's being too aggressive. She's not being aggressive. She's being how she is. How do you handle that? I don't know if I'm clear, if I made sense with my question.
I think in as much as we are a mentorship program or a mentorship platform for women, we don't only have women supporting us in the program. Even in the background, we've got men who are fully supporting the vision. And what I'm trying to say is, if we don't make the men around us see the value of having women in these positions, then we're not changing the status quo as well. We need to challenge these thoughts and start having dialogues with our male colleagues and our male friends. So it's not something that needs to be done in isolation and isolate men. No, we're doing this. We've got this. the empowerment of women should not be at the disempowerment of men, but at the same time, it should also not be at the exclusion of men. So.
Okay, I think mine is also leaning towards what she was talking about, and it's also to what you were saying at the end. So, just to end on what she was saying, we get young girls from school, obviously, and I'm gonna say from previously disadvantaged in our country, we still have that, where when they get into the industry, there is no confidence in them. I think we've seen it with the ladies that you try to, in my group, you try to bring into your space. So how are we gonna cap that gap? Because I think just to explain to everybody, so they came to my team. I also run a service desk team, and it's obviously starting from learnership, né? Because most people can't go to universities and study in universities, there's no funds. So with the CETA, people go to do learnerships, and I think in my company, we are strong on that. So that I will get those girls, but in those training, there is no confidence training or personal training on confidence. Number two is finances. So if you're saying to someone that's earning 5,000, that you want them to come to your mentorship programs that are running at a late time, how are you gonna manage to bring them up, and how are you going to sort of take them to the water and make them drink that water for their own good?
Okay.
I'll ask the second question later.
You asked 2 questions already. Is it question 2.2 that you were going to ask? All right, so the first question was about the ladies that don't have confidence, right? And how are we grooming that? So if you look at, I'll make an example again. It will be as though we're focusing on her team, but it's not about her. I'm joking. All right, so what we did for the ladies, right? So when we picked up that they signed up and then they couldn't pitch, and then we tried to move the second venue around them and they still didn't pitch. Then we went to their premises. I think it was on a Thursday or something, booked a boardroom, sat with them and tried to understand what their issues are. So then we sat down and we're like, okay, can you then explain what your challenges are? So they did explain that they either stay far, some of them don't have transport and stuff like that. So part of what we are doing, and I think it's important to have people like the likes of Kile Mazwai on our mentor list or mentor program, because she highlighted that you can't say that you are a mentorship program and you want to empower women when you don't go to the women at their level, right? Try to reach out to them from where they are. So what we are looking into is to have, for example, if it's a group of ladies at a certain company, then we have a session with them, taking them through certain things. So if they can't make the evening sessions because of transport challenges, because of finances and everything, then we go to them. So we can bring the program to them. So that's question 1.1. That's question 1. Then question 2 is about finances. So I think that's where I would even bring it to the audience, because then we need sponsorships. It's not everyone that can afford to be on a program, and to run a program like this, we also need funds to run to sort out the running costs. So that's where the sponsorships would come in. For example, I think it's been a great privilege for us to be sponsored. Our venues are sponsored, so we don't have to struggle around that. So that sorts it out. But we need sponsorships to drive certain things. Even the school awareness. We don't want to take your ordinary, take 10 PCs to a school and leave it with a teacher that's going to get bored after a month, or that doesn't really bring the fun out of it. We want to bring the fun part of ICT to the schools, and that you can only do by taking your gadgets there, by showing them what it takes to build an app, because your kids they're all on the internet and social media, but they don't really know what goes behind that. So we want collaboration from people to take the fun part of ICT to their schools and out there to attract more people. I hope I answered.
Just before Sbu asks a question, bringing fun into ICT, I think one of our partners, Geek Culture, should be on board. And I'm putting them on the spot deliberately.
I think it sort of ties in slightly to what you were saying now. My question is mainly also maybe what the lady behind me was hinting at the beginning, that what is your current business in terms of revenue? Because I'm hearing a lot of the mentorship side and all of that, but then it starts to sound like an NGO, and I'm sure you guys are not an NGO. So how do you make your money? So that's the first question. And then, you don't have to go into details, I'm just curious. And then the other one is also to touch a little bit, because Monde said it's SG Women Month, and you mentioned something about the challenges that women face, especially when you're in a male-dominated industry. If you can elaborate and give us some examples, so maybe as a man and you don't know, you can also just be aware and be cognizant as well of that.
So let me tackle your question number one. So how we started the business with Mbulelo. Some people would say it's the other way of doing, or it's the other way of doing it, because you often find corporates, they'll start with their business model and what they have, and then from that business model, they would have CSI initiatives running from that business model. But for us, because we were already working, we had full-time jobs, we had a business model, and we wanted to do, and we're also passionate around this. So as well, what we decided to do was to go the other way in terms of building partnerships, to start with the CSI, so that by the time we launch the business model, people already know who we are. So in terms of business model, where we're going into the digital space around mentorship, and we're also going into early childhood education around tech. But that will all be revealed soon. At this point in time, we launched in Feb. At this point in time, we said the key priority is to bring the key stakeholders involved, build the key relationships, so that when we launch the IT thing, we already have buy-in out there.
Okay, hi. My question to you guys is, so you offer a great initiative, which is exciting. So what do you guys do? Because you often find that you find a mentor, but that mentorship is at a senior level and she never has time. So now you'll be that nagging girl who's always emailing, calling. So what do you do to just kind of ensure that they meet them halfway? That's my first question. My second question is, as ICT on Heels, what is your, how do I put it? Let's say I sign up with you guys, I go through your program for 10 months. What then?
I've just realized we haven't answered your second question around the challenges that women go through in general. So Mbulelo will quickly touch on that and maybe perhaps touch on the second question.
So our challenges are, I think they're multifaceted. So for example, you come into the industry, you join with the other guys in the industry. You go through the same things, but like I was saying earlier on, the expectation, I don't know, I think you almost have to work twice as hard to prove that you can. Right? You have the same capabilities, you have the same qualifications, you can do the same things, maybe sometimes even better, but you have to prove yourself. And it's not only to your male managers, even to your female managers, you have to prove yourself that I can do it, you know? And it goes back to the question about when you are strong and you are bold, you are seen as, that one. that one is a problem. So those are the other things. You are perceived as either being arrogant, or you are, if you raise certain issues, you are emotional. And then there's the other part of it. I mean, let me give an example. I start an internship with about 14 guys. I'm the only girl. Then I fall pregnant, and then my contract doesn't get renewed. And then the guys that I'm on the program with, they just carry on. And by the time I get back, they've made leaps and bounds. They're far. Then I come back. Then I need to juggle being a mother, finishing off my studies, and then trying to catch up. So there's a lot that we have to face. So maybe even was there another question? I can't remember now. But I want to pose a question to the audience. Can I do that? So most of the time when you say there's an initiative that's empowering women. So this is, for example, I'm going to give an example when we were scouting for mentors. So Ellen, I think big ups to Ellen, right? Because most men, as soon as we're saying we've got a women empowerment program, then they don't want to be involved. So here's my question. We approached a few men, and we're running this program. We want you to be on the program. We like you've got expertise in this space, and we think the ladies can learn from it. But it's a women's program. Then they don't want to get involved. So that's my question to the guys. Why is it that when there's a women initiative or something that wants to empower women, that men shy away? Okay. Yeah, I'll pack a question. I want the men to answer.
Yeah,
first, why do men shy away from women empowerment initiatives?
Oh, hi.
Yes.
Well, I have my own question, but I'm just gonna. My trouble, and okay, I'm actually gonna ask my question, and then we're gonna. What I'm missing from you ladies, I think you're doing important work, yeah? What I'm sitting here, I keep asking myself, sorry, what's your name? Mbulelo and?
Nolu.
Yes, and I keep asking myself, who is Mbulelo and who is Nolu? In the sense that, and I guess maybe there's different platforms for these things, but I'm missing the sense that I don't know your story. I don't know what motivates the girl power, you know? Because right now it's sounding a lot very Twitter, very here, right? And I'm not understanding what made you guys even think of this in the first place. I'm not understanding your story. I'm not understanding what's going to drive this in the long run, first of all. Yeah, the sustainability, because I think with every business, there's always that thing, man, that makes you wake up in the morning, that makes you try a little harder, that makes you try to innovate the space and stuff like that. So I'm not, because I didn't get that introduction of who are you, why this girl power, why this pink power, and why do you think it's going to add anything to the ICT space, you know? That's actually my second question. Or what do you think is missing from the ICT space since, you know, we are of the perception that it's been run by males? What are the women going to bring that's fresh, that's innovative? And to answer your question on, you know, why do men switch off? Well, that's a physiological flaw. I think we naturally just switch off. But it's a bad thing. It's a terrible thing. It's a thing that men need to unlearn. The world over need to unlearn. And I wanted to just, you know, my thing about women empowerment is that it has assumed this position of men are the standard. You know, we are gunning for what the men are doing. We are gunning for what the men are, you understand? It's not sounding like, you know what, if we were in power, dog, like where y'all are at, we haven't even started. That's our landing ground. You know, we're gonna blow up even beyond that. So that's actually my second question. What other women, what ICT Heels going to add into the ICT space that is not already there?
I have a question for you. So I have a question for him. So what do you suggest that needs to be done? Since this watch, that's your perception, right? What do you suggest that we should do as women in IT?
I personally don't think, and that's why I'm asking the question, right? Because I mean, if you're going to have an entire movement of ICT on heels, that means you must know what's already there and what you want to add, right? And sure, I mean, it's ICT. It's always evolving. We are literally deep in the fourth revolution right now. Like everything is just, I was watching, okay, I'm gonna diverge. But everything, there's always something new in the space, you know? And I can't say that, you know, I think women are going to add whatever. I mean, we all have brains in the same way. We all have minds in the same way.
Okay, but yes, we all have brains, but then we are not given opportunities the same. I mean, our male counterparts, they earn higher. We can be in the same position, but then you will earn higher than me because I'm a female and you're a man. So we need to get to that point where we are all equal. That's where we need to get to. And it starts from the foundation by empowering each other as women. As women, when we come together, there's power, we feel comfortable, that's our own space. That's how we open up and that's how we actually learn and scale.
Okay.
Quick way.
We're not gunning for you guys.
One comment before we give backgrounds around ourselves. If you look at the consumer buying power out there, who's got more power in terms of consumer? Women, because even if we're not purchasing the product, even when we don't have money to purchase the product, I can influence my husband and say, no, we're not buying that. So if we hold the power when it comes to consumer decisions, why aren't we holding the power in terms of creating those solutions that are out there?
I've lost track, guys. So many questions. Okay, so you wanted to know who we are. So you know ICT on Heels, but you don't know what we are about. All right, you want to know our journeys. Okay, so I studied computer systems engineering, and then I got my in-service training at Siemens. I was the only girl in a group of 15, so there were 14 guys in our cohort. And in that group, right, my motivation was that I'm not going to be the bottom of the food chain there. I'm going to prove to them that I'm going to be either top 5 or top something, right? I'm not going to be seen as the weakling because I'm a girl. So I had to kick ass, and I did, right? Right, so that was Siemens, but then I fell pregnant, so I touched on that, and then I fell pregnant and I lost my in-service training. I went home depressed. I'm pregnant, I haven't graduated, I've lost my in-service training, but my mom kicked me and said, you know what, you're gonna stand up and you're gonna first you're gonna finish your qualification, and then you're gonna find a job, and then you're gonna make a success out of it. And I did. But I started at the bottom of the food chain again. I don't know why I keep referring to the food chain. Anyway, but I started at the bottom. I worked as a call center agent at MultiChoice. I hated it. I hated the shifts. I hated the people screaming in my ear. I was there for 8 months, I think, and then I needed something that had a bit of IT in it. Then I landed at the help desk. The help desk there was no order, you know. I was the logging calls now I would write on my book because I was the only help desk person there. They would phone, I wouldn't keep up with logging the calls, so I would write down, and then when it's lunchtime, I'm logging the calls, right? So I hated that as well. Then I worked as a desktop team lead. Never did desktop before, but then my female manager gave me an opportunity to lead a team of desktop guys, and that for me was also a wake-up call, because in my mind I was like, I don't have the skill, how am I going to lead them? And she said, all you need to do is to lead them. They know what they're doing. They are the subject matter experts. And I went there. I led a very successful desktop team. You have been moving around. I don't think we have enough time. But anyway, then I got to T-Systems somewhere in my journey. I worked as an incident manager there. Started as an incident coordinator. Then became an incident manager. Then moved to service delivery within T-Systems. Then we were about to lose our contract and I was not going down with the boat. I jumped ship again. Went to MTN, hated it. Went to ABSA. I'm still at ABSA. I'm trying to stay. Got to ABSA, did service delivery. Started with a group of about 8. We were all service delivery managers as well. And I think there were 2 females there. And the rest were guys, and I did the same mentality. I'm not going to be at the bottom. I'm going to kick, and I did. And I became the lead service manager for one of the business units there, and now I'm a lead technology partner for the same business unit. So that is my journey. Okay, and then, yeah, so once I did computer systems engineering, then I did my governance stuff. I did my ETIL. I'm an ETIL expert. I went and did COBIT. I've got, the COBIT qualification. I'm also a co-founder of ICT On Heels. So I work 8 to 5. We run the business after hours, and I'm a single parent of 3 kids. That's me.
Before I introduce myself, I just want to touch on a question that you've asked: what do women bring differently into the space? And what are we bringing as ICT On Heels? One of the things that we're trying to do is just to transform corporates in general. One of the offerings that we bring is breastfeeding pumps, for example. I'll make an example. You come back to work, there's no space to breastfeed. It's breastfeeding pods. There's no space to breastfeed. Why is it that a woman must go express in a toilet whereby you can't eat in a toilet? So by having women in these positions, you are able to challenge the status quo. And I said in our roadmap where we're going into digitalization and early childhood education. And the reason why we want to go that route and the reason why we think there is room for that is because we are women, we are mothers, we are parents, and there's room for game-based learning. We do homeworks, we see how our kids are being taught. So this is what we're bringing differently into the space. I'm not saying guys aren't involved in their academic development of the kids, but we've got more influence, more input. We should be gamifying education and making it interesting for kids and doing all these exciting things. So this is the space that ICT on Heels is going at. So I also started in a call center help desk environment. I started at Vodacom. I studied for an IT diploma at Varsity College. So after I graduated, I landed a job at Vodacom. I lasted a year. It was not really what I wanted to do. After that, I landed a help desk role in banking when Capitec Bank had just started up as well. Didn't last long. I guess I was one of those who are too ambitious. I then joined UCT. I think I stayed at UCT for 4 years. I worked also in IT support for UCT. That's where I did most of my studies and my postgraduate studies. I'm currently completing my master's with UCT in information systems. After I left UCT, I was like, this environment, it's not for young people with a drive. It's nice if you're close to retirement and you're all chilled. It was just not working for me, so I resigned to join a small financial planning house. And at the time when I joined the financial planning house, I knew it was in the process of being bought by Old Mutual, but I joined them either way. So I joined them as an end user support specialist. I stayed about 5 years within that company / Old Mutual. But in that 5 years that I had stayed there, I think I changed my role 4 to 3 times. I moved from being the end user support specialist to being a BA, to being in Sharepoint teams, to being a project manager. I now work for one of the biggest mining houses in South Africa. I'm not going to mention names. But I manage an all-male team. I'm the only female in the team. And you see those dynamics. If you manage a team just full of men and you are the only female, it's tough. It's not easy. And that is why at the heart of what we're trying to do is what we are going through as women in the industry today. We don't want those who are coming behind us to go through the same system. We are transforming the space in the process of what we're trying to do.
Any second last question?
All right. So I've got a comment. We can take this offline, and a question, right? Yes. So I go to a lot of this woman in ICT staff, women this, women that. Sorry for that. And no, my problem with that is there's a lot of male bashing. No, just hold on. There's a lot of male bashing, and I think what you guys should be doing is sort of like educating us. I understand why that gentleman there is sort of like puzzled and doesn't really understand. It's because we're not being educated with most of your struggles. So we'll take that offline. My question is, I'm seeing a lot of female initiatives popping up. My biggest worry is you're not collaborating. Is there a particular reason why all this, I mean, we make jokes about it, that next month there's another one coming up. Is there a particular reason why they're not collaborating? Because I feel if you collaborate, I mean, it becomes stronger. Is it a matter of we want to do our own thing? And is there a particular reason why, I mean, I can think of 10 initiatives that you guys can plug into, that you can collaborate with, but you probably won't. I don't know why. Okay, so I'm seeing a lot of that. Not a lot of female initiatives are actually collaborating. So maybe you can just address, like, why is it like that?
Okay, so I'll take the offline one online and
Can we take that?
Eh.
Can we take that one offline?
You need to avail yourselves. It goes back to the question we asked, so why are men always shying away from coming to anything that empowers women? So we'll continue with it offline. Okay.
Let me take the collaboration one. There's this perception that women aren't collaborating and that we're doing things in silo. We are collaborating. I think it's not only a female thing, but even with these mentorship programs and everything that is available in the industry, you find they're not easily accessible to everyone. And that has been our key challenge. For example, I had a meeting, was it 2 days ago, with one of the corporates that are doing a similar thing. So they say to me, we want to host a golf day for you guys in partnership with us. And okay, I say, okay, I'm interested. Let's talk about this. And in us unpacking this idea of a golf day, they already have this criteria of women that they want. And I said, hang on. You talking CIOs and women in senior leadership? Yes, we have those in our network, but our key focus is not only about empowering those women at that level. So I think rather than collaboration, the challenge is accessibility, whereby people start initiatives that aren't accessible to everyone.
My question is very simple. It's about networking. Thank you for that. I just want to know, well, I'm not into ICT, well, not necessarily in ICT. An entrepreneur out looking for venture capitalists. And you have done a lot of networking. You've spoken in platforms like this. And my question is, how do you make sure that you come out with how do you make sure you come out having impacted a person's life through networking? Yes. how do you make sure that you come out or you leave this place having impacted somebody's life? It also correlates with the question that I asked earlier on how.
I think when it comes to networking, people always think about the numbers, and even when we come to this type of events, I'll see people trying to chat to everyone to make sure they get as much business cards as they can. But I think for me personally, it's about connecting with an individual, even if it's one person. If you are able to make an impact to one person, and also for us, for what we stand for with Mbulelo is not the quantity or the numbers that we pull in, but the quality. And hence, even in us rolling out the program, we had an opportunity or platform to go big hoo-ha. But because for us it was not about rolling out a big hoo-ha thing, it was ensuring that whatever we're doing is delivering quality. I'm not sure if I answer you. Yes, I think directly. I'll just tap on the feedback that we often have, even from the networking events that we have. We would often have business development managers of various corporates also joining us, and they would give feedback, for example, from a business perspective, that through that event I was able to link up with that person and get potential business. And in terms of the girls in the program, and not even just the girls only, the people who attend the program, I think the impact is just the ability to be able to make a person to reflect. Just when someone is saying, okay, I'm now starting to think about this differently. Even though it's not going to be immediate change, but the fact that you have planted a seed, it might not grow now, but you know something is there, it will grow maybe in 5 years or whenever, but you've planted your own seed. Thank you.
Maybe just to add before we go to the next question. So I think me and Nolu are sitting here today because of networking. When we met at the second conference, we didn't know each other, but from networking and talking to each other, that's when we picked up that we share the same vision. And that's where this baby was born. So even from the sessions that we've had, I think some of our mentors they were not connected prior to this, but from being at the session, they connected. There's several of them. We might not have the numbers, but those platforms are very impactful. People come out of there having met someone that has something that they can take away or something that can grow out of it. So yeah.
Hi, ladies. Thank you so much for coming and speaking to us. It's a very interesting conversation. My question is, in terms of ICT, right, for young people, straight out of high school coming into varsity, do you cater for those who struggle with English as a medium of communication, and how do you deal with that? And a comment that I want to make is that I think it's great what you're doing with bringing all the young people, young ladies, onto the table and having a discussion and everyone having a seat at the table. At the same time, I think we need to have those men at the table as well. What the gentleman in front said about this being a male bashing session, I think he's saying that because he really feels like it's a conversation where we sidelining them. You can't get involved because it's the women's space and we're trying to empower women. In empowering women, the unfortunate part is that men are seated up there and we sort of need them as our networking platform for us to end up being up there. So I think it's really something we need to think about in terms of leveraging on men to get up to the top, not necessarily using them, but yeah, just leveraging. And I could swear I had Geek Culture in front there saying they'll also sponsor you after this. So I think that's...
Signed and sealed, thank you. So yeah. Oh, the English question. I can't keep up, guys, I told you. I think it's long past my bedtime. But anyway, I think the collaboration and the partnerships that we have. So we've got Tamipowe from Timung, who runs debating workshops. I think they've just had a Nelson Mandela debating thing that just finished. So he's one of the people that's going to be on our public speaking and all of the language workshop. And we've got Zoya as well from Zoya Speaks, who's going to be also teaching about public speaking and all of that. So I think we're looking at all the needs that are out there for young ladies, and not just young ladies. Sometimes you've been in a role for long, but you still struggle with expressing yourself, with speaking in public. Those are things that we can address. It's not just that. As we see a need, we source a solution for it.
I think the last two questions. What does the future look like for ICT On Heels?
All right. So from where we're sitting, so we're starting out within ICT, but the platform and the mentoring will go beyond that, right? It will go beyond just, it will not be restricted within ICT, it will go beyond that. Already as it is, we've got people that are outside of ICT that are on the platform or interested in coming on the platform. So it won't be restricted to ICT. The second thing is, as Nolu also said, we plan to have a digital platform. So we've got a platform, and we already pick up the restrictions with that platform. It's being at a certain location at a certain time for you to be in that session. But we also plan to take it to a digital level. We'll share the details of that as it unfolds. I don't know if you've got more.
Okay, now you're parting with Geek Culture and other people that are here. What or how can we contribute to ensure that it's not about bashing women, but to ensure that all the different initiatives, but particularly yours, is a success, including men into this? Because irrespective of gender, we need to look at the bigger picture to say, as South Africa, we need our ICT space to grow. So how do we ensure that a child who's in a rural or township setting can be part of your journey, and then a male counterpart cannot feel that it's a male bashing or they cannot be part of this?
So I think collaboration is key, right? We collaborate in order to provide a solution to a need that's out there, a need within ICT, a need that's within our community. So as we collaborate, we become the solution, right? So it's not about running in silos. We partner and we collaborate with different people to address needs, because we want to influence not just the ICT space, but we want to influence even the communities that we come from. I mean, I come from Sebokeng, right? Sebokeng is still where I left it when I left my parents' home. That's like a tragedy, right? So any initiative that can influence the communities we come from, the communities that are still underprivileged, is welcome. So collaboration is key, and we are open to collaborate and work with anyone to make a difference.
Ladies, thanks a lot for coming on board. I think from SG, one of the reasons why Startup Grind chose May to be our Female Founders Month is to say males out there have issues. You know, we're not very, we're not very open to initiatives of women or actually giving women space on the table, you know. So we're saying a startup grind, we love what you're doing, and we want more women on our stage, and we want to help you to ensure that we can all contribute to the betterment of all our, all our entities, and specifically in South Africa. SG really does want to see more male people contributing and working with our female counterparts. So please, keep on doing the great work, and there's great news coming your way. We're just waiting for confirmation. And to everyone out there, thanks a lot for coming out to be in this presence of the two ladies, Mbulelo Nonoli. Can we just give them a round of applause, please? Thank you. We can have some drinks and stuff and network for the next hour or so. Thanks a lot, and drive safely. Thank you. And the two ladies, thanks a lot for coming, and a token of appreciation.